Welcome back to Good Germs Off-Road Adventures, and welcome back to the Nothing Vlog. I believe we're up to episode 5 at this point. At least that's what the thumbnail says, so we're going to go with that. And, today we're just doing some stuff around the shop. We've got a couple of housekeeping things, some broken chairs. But before we get into the broken chairs and fixing things like that, we've got to talk about safety. So when I talk about things like safety, what I'm really referring to for today's purpose is, fire hazards, and more specifically, fire suppression equipment, otherwise known as fire extinguishers. If you watched the episode, the Christmas, the end of the year, Christmas, thank you to everybody. We did a shop tour, and I mentioned that we have a fire extinguisher here in the shop. Didn't really show it, just kind of sweeping by, passing. But there's a viewer out there that, he's got a keen eye, and he honed in on that fire extinguisher and made some comments. And we'll get to those comments, in just a minute. But let me show you the fire extinguisher first. So this is the fire extinguisher in question, and it is quite old, and we'll get to that, in just a moment. But when we talk about the comments from the very astute and keen-eyed viewer. But I figured it's probably okay. This is still showing in the green, even though it's hard to see. But if you look at it really close, it's still in the green. After reading this guy's comments, I think it's time we do something about this. So like I mentioned, a viewer out there that's very keen-eyed and astute noticed what appeared to be the age of this fire extinguisher and made some comments. Let's go ahead and read the comments. Fun video, new subscriber. Thank you for that. Looking forward to watching more of your videos. Well, that's also nice. One little thing that's itching at me, that fire extinguisher. Again, I don't know how you're able to zoom in on this thing and, notice it. Anyway, I travel all over the world installing and testing fire suppression systems and equipment. Please let me give you some advice. Although cool looking, I'd bet Nixon was president when that extinguisher was made. He's probably not wrong. I did look for a date of manufacture on this thing and, well, couldn't find anything that told me when this thing was made. But I can tell you, I'm getting on close to about 50 years old, and I remember my dad, around 1980, probably when he entered the picture, and he had a little sports car. And this fire extinguisher, I do believe, was actually mounted to the roll bar in that little sports car. So it's clearly older than that. So it's I don't know about Nixon, but at least somewhere in there. This is probably very old. So while that's a little bit funny, it's probably a little closer to the truth than I'd like to admit. It looks like it's never been serviced. Again, probably true. I don't know. It has an inspection tag on it, what's left of it. So I have no clue when the last time that would have been marked on before it disintegrated. The gauge is most likely stuck, and the nitrogen is long gone. Well, the gauge does say green. It's a little melty, though, for some reason. He's probably right again there. It probably is stuck, and I don't know about nitrogen, but if that's long gone, sure. If you popped it, it would probably most likely puff for 2 seconds, then become a paperweight. That's fair. Then in big letters, I could be wrong. I do appreciate it when somebody says it could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot. But if I was on the job and I saw that out of the corner of my eye, I would condemn it before I could see it straight on. Yeah, okay, that's fair. I'd love to see a 5-pound BC made in this decade, mounted by your exit door. That's the appropriate size and kind for your setup. I would hate to see all your toys go away because of a cool decoration didn't work. Hope I wasn't too harsh, just concerned. Good luck. Look forward to your kind of content, and Merry Christmas. Look, that was not too harsh. If anything, it was probably pretty kind to me because there's a lot of stuff going on in the shop, sometimes flammable things. And, even some things with a little bit of powders that can go boom, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so I honestly put it in, probably thought to myself, well, not probably, I know I thought to myself, that'll do. But I never really gave it, much more thought than that. Just thought, yeah, I've got a fire extinguisher, I'm probably pretty good to go. But never really crossed my mind that the age of this thing could actually end up being you know, a bit of false security, you know, thinking I'm being safe when I'm really not. To go ahead and address that, went ahead and picked up, you know, this is a 5-pound BC, brand new. I just picked it up a few days ago from Costco, and today's the, whatever day it is, 21st of January. By the time you see this, it's probably a few weeks down the road. I like to be a little bit ahead on videos. But anyway, I picked it up at Costco, and they have these right now for 30 bucks on an end cap. They come in a box, not just like this, but I got eager to have a look at it. So the box is already gone. And I said, boxes? Yes, because I didn't just get one. Picked up two. Because I figure if one is good, then more must be better. But we didn't really stop there, because there's a lot of things in areas I like to work in. You know, we've got a couple of small single use of the same thing. And, you know, these really inexpensive, easy to get. I think these came from the Home Depot, 2-pack for, I don't know, what was it, 30, 40 bucks, something like that. So all in, we're not in for very much money, but a lot of peace of mind. But we've got to mount these. They're not going to do any good if I just kind of toss them around. So we're just going to go ahead and get these mounted. A little bit about these big ones though. These are serviceable. So if you use these, hopefully we never have to, but if you use these, you can get these recharged. These are single use, but at the price point, who cares? You know, you've got protection and you can just go replace it. These can be recharged. And I did look, they're all in the green. They're all brand new, so they all should be good to go. Let's, I guess let's just figure out where we're going to mount these. Yeah? Okay. I know it's a little dark in this corner, but my friend mentioned putting the 5-pound rig here by the door, so we're just going to put that here. That's excellent. And I think I'm going to mount the other 5-pound rig right here. You know, this is in good shot of if I've got something going on over here in the shop and I need to blow on some fire. I think this is a good place for the other 5-pound rig. And then over here on this workbench, as we mentioned, you know, during arts and crafts time, if, you know what I mean. You know, some of the materials that we use may or may not be combustible. Plus I've got some propane torches that we use. I think I'm going to mount it right down here, one of the single-use ones right there. Seems like a good place. And then the final place, I think I'm going to mount one to the end of this rolly cart, because when I'm working on vehicles throughout the shop here, this cart follows me, and I use it to put parts on and everything else. And I figure it would be a good idea to have a fire extinguisher within arm's reach. Whenever I'm working on a car, there's gasoline, there's other things that can happen, but I've got, you know, the ability to stomp on a fire really quickly. Hello there. Okay, so like I mentioned, we're going to put one here by the door as recommended by the fire professional there. That's not meant to be a joke. I really do take his word that he is a professional, and I am taking that seriously. Anyway, we're going to put that there. That's the Wi-Fi thing for my computer. Let's maybe shove it around the backside. That'll do. Okay, let's go get an extinguisher and a pencil. I think that works pretty good height-wise. There's the light switches, maybe a little higher. Maybe we go right there. Let's draw a mark here. So that'll put the bracket right about there. And I'm sure there's some kind of OSHA workplace requirement for this, but you know, this is the home shop. We'll do what makes sense. But straight away, I see we've got 4 mounting holes, and we're only going into a 2x4 on edge here. So with that, I think we're going to have to drill holes in the middle of this thing to be able to mount it to this thing, to this, you know, to this 2x4, because these are going to be right on the edge and going to end up missing the wood or splitting it. So let's go drill these out. You probably don't need to watch that, but I'm going to go ahead and do that and come right back. I'm going to go ahead and put this on here. And this should work, you know, quite well. Unfortunately, because there's a cabinet to my left side, and because that cabinet or this shelving unit is made out of plastic, that makes it permanent and not movable. So because of that, I'm going to have to do a lot of this left-handed, or you're just not going to see it. Yes, left-handed. We'll see how this goes. I am not a lefty. Okay. Perfect. If this looks like it's awkward, it's because it is. I'm not left-handed. Maybe these screws aren't the right screws. Let's get a different screw. Maybe I should drill a pilot hole. Hopefully making a pilot hole will work. You know, all I have are these cheap Harbor Freight bits that just like to snap at the first sign of, you know, wood, particle board, paper, you know, anything that might come into contact with the drill bit. They just like to break. Well, look at that. Drilled a hole without breaking a bit. Perfect. There's the hole. There we go. Off to a start. Let's go ahead and get this thing nice and plumb. Yeah. There we go. That seems pretty sturdy. Okay. Nope. There we go. Tuck the hose in. Perfect. Well, there we go. And this gets us off to a good start with, you know, putting some safety into the shop here. Okay, so like I mentioned, we're going to put the second of the 5-pound rigs right here on the, you know, where we charge the batteries. So that's, you know, here. Let's go ahead and get this off. I haven't figured out where to store that yet. So in my mind, this is going to look something like this. And that should make it right out in the open where we can get to it, you know, in emergency. So in case you haven't noticed, this is one of those pegboard, you know, kind of deals here. And I'm well aware that we may have to drill a hole somewhere, probably in the bracket. I don't really want to drill holes in the pegboard. But anyway, let's have a look at this. So all the way to the edge, this looks like it'll be pretty good right there. Let's take the bracket off the unit here and see what we need to do. Well, that's one way to do it. Well, oddly, left to right, those holes line up. And, I'll be. The holes all line up, so all I really have to do is bolt this in place. And we'll have a fire extinguisher mounted to this thing here. Now I just have to find little nuts and bolts to do that with. Let me rummage around the bin with all the nuts and bolts and see what I can find. So after rummaging around in the bin a little bit, I found some little bolts that fit these holes quite nice. Now they were a little snug to fit through these holes, so I just ruined another drill bit and made these holes a little bigger. But these should work pretty well, in theory. So let's go ahead and, there we go, right there. Yep, does that come through? Yes, it does. Now with those all started, I can tighten it up. Okay, well that's on there. Let's see if this works. Yeah, we can turn this a little bit. Look at that. I'd say that's pretty good. We can get to it easy, and it's out here in the open where if we're working on things, you know, easy access to the fire extinguisher. Hi again. Anyway, you know, these little extinguishers here, we're just gonna, I think right about there kind of height will do. I don't know how high that is, but it's that high. Let's go ahead and mark the top hole. Right there. Okay, now I'm going to use a little center punch and make a spot here. Let's do that again. There we go. So we've got a place for our drill bit to sink into. And so what I'm going to use to mount this here is I'm going to use these riv nuts. Put it in there, and then you've got a threaded hole in your sheet metal that you're working with. So I'm going to get my drill with the Christmas tree bit on it here, and how far do we reckon that's going to go? I think this might be the wrong size one, so maybe the other one. But first, let's go ahead and get it started here. Ooh, that's too high. Here we go. All right, let's go to the second one. Okay, is that big enough? No, and I'm afraid the third one's going to be too big because it really doesn't want to go in that hole. So let's grab the other Christmas tree bit. We'll just try whatever the next hole size up is. Okay. Nope. Well, that's pretty good. So this is the right Christmas tree bit. Now, this is the riv nut tool, and I've already pre-installed the little rivet thing here. And I've already run it all the way down. You just spread it open, and you know, you run that all the way in, and when you push this in here, you do that, and then run it in again, and go until you just can't anymore. And then we'll take it out. And there we go. On the back side, it squishes it, kind of the way the back side of a rivet does, and it's got little serrated teeth in it. And then now, if we take a screw, you know, we can thread that in there, and we can mount a thing or two. These are pretty neat. This is probably the second time I've used it, but these are pretty neat when you're trying to attach stuff. You know, say you're working on some kind of a car and need to mount something, and maybe under the hood somewhere. This is a good way to do that. Or anywhere else where you need to, you know, drill a hole in some metal and you want to have something tapped in there to mount things to. These are handy little tools there. Okay. We're just going to get this on here. Let's get the marker. Let's mark up the hole right in the middle of that silver dot. Yep. Okay. Do that, open it back up, thread that out again so you can get a little bit more sauce on it there. And that's it. And now we've got our mounting holes done. There we go. Make those good and snug. Perfect. And let's hang this bad boy on here. Question, is there a secret to making this latch up now? Oh, you just push it really hard. Okay. Well, there we go. I feel safer already. And that's not really a joke. I actually do. Perfect. And the drawer still opens because I actually got lucky and, didn't put it in the wrong spot. Okay, one left. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, on the little cart there, and I've got it all set up and everything I need to go there. But you've already seen me do it and do the exact same thing I did with the workbench, put the riv nuts on there with the nut cert tool and, mount the fire extinguisher there. So I'm just going to go ahead and let you enjoy a little bit of whatever that's called, where you do it super fast, like stop motion? No, stop motion, that's for cartoons. Fast forward, that's what we'll call it. So there we go. We've got our one-time use little extinguisher on the cart. Like I said, this thing goes kind of around with us everywhere we're working on things, so it's good to have, something handy. Of course, we've got the one here that's on the workbench where we do arts and crafts, And then, of course, we've got a big 5-pound unit here. And then if we go back by the door, we have this thing mounted. Listen, I know I made a lot of jokes about it, but fire safety is not something you want to mess around with. And I didn't take it too seriously until I read that comment, and it really made me sit and think and decided, well, I should probably go ahead and do the right thing and install some fire things in here. But yeah, I mean, in your home, in your kitchen, in your RV, you buy an RV, it comes with a fire extinguisher. After thinking about it, they put it, by the exit door, but I'm thinking I might put a second one in there at some point in the near future. In your shop, garage, make sure you've got some fire extinguisher handy there. You just can't be too safe. Everybody works hard for what they have, and if there's any chance that, you can protect and save on things, you should go ahead and do that, especially if it means saving the lives of yourself and your loved ones. That's really super important. Okay, so now that we've said all that and decided to take everything seriously, who wants to see if this thing actually works? Let's go give this a try. Okay, so we're gonna pretend there's a fire over here on the ground, and we're gonna go ahead and pretend to put that fire that isn't there out. Now look, I have no idea what's gonna happen. The wind is blowing in a that way sort of direction, but then it moves and goes in another direction because, desert. Let's see if this thing works. Well, first off, good luck pulling the pin. Oof, there it goes. All right, here we go. Well, I think I'm as surprised as you are. It was a little tough to crack open, but it worked. Just wasted a perfectly good fire extinguisher. Okay. Look, I honestly didn't expect that thing to even work, but Dad's old fire extinguisher did work, and had I had a fire, I would have panicked a little bit at how difficult it was to push the lever, but then I would have been happy that I put it out. But now that it's empty, obviously we're not going to try to refill this. I don't even think it can be refilled. Probably just going to put it up on a shelf somewhere. Maybe I can figure out I can make something out of it. I don't know, but definitely not going to hang it back on that other workbench. I don't want anybody thinking this is a good fire extinguisher and then trying to use it. I know I mentioned some other things around here that we have to do. I've got a couple of chairs. They're just falling apart, and need to fix those, I think. Make sure you stay hydrated. Yeah. Anyway, let's show you what I'm on about. Some of my favorite stools. I don't know if you can tell, but that's quite wiggly there. I think a bolt fell out, and I've got it on the bench over there, and these are quite wiggly. They're just, they're just falling apart and need to fix on them a little bit. Okay, let's start with this one here. These are not light, but they were free. So that's all that matters. Well, I think there used to be 3 bolts here in the arms of these, but there's not any longer, there's only 1 bolt on this one and 2 on this one. This one's pretty tight, but let's get a screwdriver, and bolt fell out of it over there, so I have that. Okay, screwdriver. Sure. Can we just tighten these up? Yes, that's tighter. That's tighter. And can we figure out how this goes together? There we go. So, one of the things with the channel that is probably maybe confusing for people, I don't know if it irritates anybody or not, but, we call the channel Good Germs Off-Road Adventures, and that's just what I named the thing many years ago when I first created this YouTube channel. I wasn't trying to do anything with it back then. But, I would just upload a video whenever we went somewhere, and it was usually photographs and maybe some GoPro footage, because I had a cheap GoPro. Still have it, still works. Put some music on it and just put it on there. Nobody really watched it, but that wasn't the point of it. I know I still do that, but I'm uploading every week. New content, new video every week, and I do have a full-time job outside of this, and there is no way that I can be going somewhere every single week. Oh, that works. Anyway, there's no way I can be going somewhere every single week and recording on that. So, I decided to go ahead and make it also, what are the things we do to be able to go off-road? Work on the cars, because, both the Excursion and the Jeep, they contribute. The Excursion, of course, pulls the trailers. The Jeep actually pulls the flatbed, or, with extra quads on it. Until we got the toy hauler, it was like the main flatbed puller with the quads. But then once we got the toy hauler, of course, if we have to take the quads extra, Ruby or the Hawk there, it can tow that just fine. But then also working on the quads, of course, that makes sense. Stuff around the shop, everything that's in the shop here is here because I like to go off-roading, Yeah, I do like to work on cars and work on my own cars and occasionally work on other people's cars, but everything in here everything in here, for the most part, centers around, you know, off-roading. Obviously, there's other hobbies and things that go on, but again, the main focus of everything I do is off-roading on the quads. Well, can we tighten that up now? I don't know. There's not much of a, maybe with some strong pliers. Let's see. Do I have strong pliers? I sure do. Anyway, so if you watch and you get a little frustrated at the fact that my content seems to be all over the place, well, it is all over the place, you know. So maybe someday we'll rebrand and just call it Good Germs Adventures, and, you know, each thing we do can be, you know, a different one, like Jeremy, Good Germs, you know, shop adventures, or Good Germs off-road adventures, or, you know, whatever. Probably never do that, but maybe it's something to think about in the future. I don't know. This isn't where I wanted it. As I'm tightening it, it just went down lower, and I want it higher. Is that as high as it goes? It can't be. Well, how does the other one look? Oh, the same, I guess. Okay. So anyway, what do you think about it, you know? What kind of things do you like to see the most on this channel? Do you like the off-road stuff, the tools, reviews? That was just something I thought of adding at some point, was tool reviews, because I thought it would be neat to look at tools, and especially budget tools, and how they can be useful, or if they're any good, using them in a home shop setting where you're trying to be budget-minded and not spend a bunch of money, but you do want stuff that works and gets the job done. That was just something I kind of added. Tool reviews, working on cars, the quads. You know, I have to realize that probably each one of those things is a different audience, and it's probably really slowing down the growth of the channel, but kind of is what it is. It's what we do. I think this chair's done. Okay, this one has all three bolts. Of course, it's missing one here. That's probably okay. Let's just go ahead and tighten them all up. Yeah, see, they're all loose. Part of shop safety, make sure the stuff you're sitting on, you know, isn't gonna fall over. I think one of these have already replaced the wheels, because when they were given to me, I think one was missing a wheel and I kept falling over. It's not even a joke. That's a true fact right there. Yep. Oh, back to the content. So, yeah, if you like, you know, the tool reviews, working on stuff. Hey, if you even like these nothing vlogs that are just me rambling on about nothing and maybe doing stuff around the house or the property or the shop or whatever, going to the dump. If you like that, let me know. If you hate it, well, you can let me know. I don't think it's going to stop me from doing it. Just, I guess, don't watch it. But, and there I go again. Squirrel. Lost my train of thought. Anyway, it's that all seems tight now. I think that's all this chair needed. Oddly, you know, the one thing that is sometimes the easiest thing to film, definitely the easiest thing, yeah, I'm walking in circles because I don't know, I forgot what I was working on. Anyway, you know, so oddly, the type of video that is something that probably is the easiest for me to film, except for creatively, sometimes I stumble there. See, here's some screws. I don't even know what that goes to. And then this, I think, fell out of here. Anyway, back to what I was saying. You know, the videos that are the easiest to film, as long as I can be creative on it, some of you hate it, that's okay, is the tool reviews. Those videos do really well for some reason, and they're not what I consider my bread and butter. They're not my favorite to make. I mean, I like doing them. They are fun, especially when Frank and Tommy come around. And that's, you know, I'm sure some people really don't like those two. Sometimes I don't like them either. But, what is this from now? Anyway, what I was saying is the tool reviews tend to do pretty well, and I'm not exactly sure why. I know that some people found them downright infuriating because it took me too long to say what I wanted to say. And again, that's okay. That's just, you know, it's just part of making videos. Is you can't please everybody. But I just don't understand how those videos do well, but they do. And some of it is, if it's Harbor Freight, you know, I did put my video on their website because they allow customer videos on there. And, you know, that does pull people back into the channel. But I just don't know why those tend to do well. But that's okay. I'm not mad that they do well. What's more frustrating is my passion. My favorite videos are when we're out doing the off-roading, and I've got all the cameras and all those things. You know, I've got 4 cameras running the whole time. I've got 3 of the wannabe GoPros, the Akaso cameras, but they work pretty good as long as you don't expect to record sound, which is perfect. And then, of course, I've got the GoPro, which, you know, you're recording on right now, this GoPro. And anyway, I get a lot of footage out of that. Go on a 1-hour ride, well, that's 4 hours of footage to try to mix together. And again, that's my favorite. Doesn't seem to me like anybody really watches that stuff, which is a bummer. But that's okay. I will keep making that type of footage or film or content because that's my favorite. You know, what's also funny is I went to my cabinet or my cart over there to get a screwdriver. There's a pile of them over here. Sure. Is that it? Is everything else tight? Should I just, I think I should get some things just to make sure. Oh, that's tight. That's good. The ones for the wheels, it's important that those are tight. I'm glad that they are. Those are always the ones to come off first. What does this screw do? Does this only hold down that? Probably. Is there any more Allen key stuff since I've got it out? How about down here? Oh, nope, that's snap. Nope, I don't see any more Allen key stuff. Okay. This is long overdue. You know, this thing's been kind of falling apart for a while. And it's my favorite bench, in case you can't tell. Bench. It's not a bench. Whatever you call it. Little place to sit. It's my favorite place to sit sometimes. It also gets used as a footrest if I'm sitting in one of those other chairs just in here watching TV or something. Okay. What else? Tighten the seat. That. Let's check these. What size are those? I have no clue. I'm going to guess at 12 millimeter, and I'm wrong. Should we try 14 millimeter? It's still wrong. Let's just meet in the middle and call it 13. Yes, 13 is correct. Oh, that's tight. 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 Yep. Very good. Okay, getting some stuff done that's been on the brain lately. Okay, now I can put all the junk back in the drawers. Well, coming up in some future videos, I'm going to be doing some reviews of some other tools. You know, probably some cheap tools, hand tools, you know. But with that, it means we're going to have, we're going to have some extras left over. So my question now is, does anybody out there know of a good place to donate tools? It'd be nice if I didn't have to ship them somewhere, because while I'm all for donating, I don't really want to pay shipping to send things, to some other part of the country or whatever. But does anybody have any ideas on how to donate tools to people that could use them or need them? Let me know, because any of the extras that I end up with, I would really like to, I don't want them to just pile up here, not get used. It would be really nice if, people that need them can have access to them. So let me know. And now I'm left with a mess here, and I've got a mess on this bench, and apparently we still have the Alloy Man sockets. I didn't throw them in the bin when I did the review. That's okay. There they go. Those don't need donated anywhere because they are worthless. Got some extra screws over here. All right, let's get the vacuum and clean up this mess here. Y'all remember this little vacuum that Tommy went and picked up? Frank was mad as hell, but he now uses this thing all the time. Okay. If you don't remember the thumbnail on this thing, I called this the shop tool you didn't know you needed. This thing gets used constantly. I have to clean up my mess over here from drilling on those fire extinguisher brackets. Okay. Yeah, this little vacuum, it does the thing. Well, that's probably gonna do it there. I know this video probably wasn't terribly exciting, but that's life. Sometimes life's not exciting, and when life is not exciting, take advantage, because that's just a sign that soon it's going to get exciting, whether you're prepared for it or not. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today, those of you that are still there. If you're wanting to see more of this kind of thing, go ahead and maybe do a like. That'll help get it out there and get the channel out there, and do a subscribe. That'll be good. And for those of you that are subscribed, it'd be cool if all of you watch the videos. I get it, though. It's a big commitment. It's a lot to ask. But for every like, subscribe, for every watch I get, look, I appreciate everybody. And now it's time to brave the not-so-warm wind and go back in the house. In the meantime, we'll see you later.